Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Thursday, the 30th of March, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 finished the day up 1% to close at 7,122 points. There were some pretty good performers among the large caps. Both BHP and National Australia Bank closed up around 2.4%. Transurban, Commonwealth Bank and Westpac were both 1.5% higher. The retailers were mixed. The energy stocks were flat and the insurers did pretty well. The best of the sub-indices was information technology, with the index closing 1.7% higher, which is exactly how much more WiseTech Global closed at. The gold stocks generally didn't do so well. Newcrest Mining ended lower. Story number 2, unions will push for a record 7% increase in award wages for 2.6 million workers, despite warnings that such an amount would trigger further inflation. The ACTU's submission to the annual wage review by the Fair Work Commission suggests the minimum hourly rate for lowest paid workers shifts from $21.38 to $22.88. The annual minimum wage would move to $45,337. The peak union goes further, arguing the 7% increase should apply to other workers on minimum award rates, ranging from $66,000 annually in hospitality to $200,000 for pilots. ACTU Secretary Sally McManus said inflation-linked wage rises were necessary for workers on the lowest wage and the millions more on higher award rates, as both had suffered the largest real wage cuts on record. Story number 3, Medibank shareholders have taken legal action against the private health insurer for not disclosing alleged cyber security deficiencies. The class action was filed in the Supreme Court of Victoria on behalf of shareholders. The statement of claim includes allegations that Medibank breached its continuous disclosure obligations by not disclosing to the market information relating to alleged deficiencies in its cybersecurity systems. Medibank reported the massive data breach last October after Russian hackers stole the sensitive health records of almost 10 million Australians. The cyber criminals have since dumped all the customer information they stole from the health insurer on the dark web after Medibank refused to pay a ransom. Maurice Blackburn has already launched a compensation claim against the health insurer over the hack. Story number 4, Qantas, Airbus and the Queensland Government will contribute to a feasibility study to explore the creation of a $400 million ethanol-based sustainable aviation fuel factory in North Queensland. The idea is to use ethanol from sugarcane and wheat starch and turn that into sustainable aviation fuel, known as SAF. The 2 airline industry leaders have committed to invest as much as $300 million to accelerate the establishment of the SAF industry in Australia. Construction of the facility could begin in 2024 and produce up to 100 million litres of SAF each year. It's an early but significant step towards turning agricultural and sugarcane byproducts into aviation fuel in Australia. And story number 5, Taiwan is becoming the centre of Chinese-US relations after the country, which Beijing considers part of China, pushed for a better tax deal with the US. If the US did a tax treaty on trade with Taiwan, which is the home of the semiconductor chip, it pretty much recognises that country's sovereignty. It doesn't do that now, and if it did, it would be considered a major swipe at Beijing. Not having a better tax treaty with Taiwan is a problem for Washington because the US needs chips by the busload, and they're very small. Keep that in mind. But Taiwanese companies producing them at the moment have to pay tax in 2 jurisdictions and don't have much incentive to invest in the US. The Taiwanese president is in Washington this week. That's it for the afternoon report for Thursday, the 30th of March, 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.